With that, we have another session by a very, very fabulous bar. And the name itself, I'm sure you've heard of it, it's Barc, a speakeasy bar where the blend of artistic decor and innovative cocktails creates an unforgettable experience in the heart of Kathmandu. Barc offers a unique experience in the Nepali market, blending familiar and foreign elements seamlessly. Each cocktail is crafted with precision, offering a diverse range of options to suit every palate, therefore rightfully earning them a place at Asia's 50 Best Bar list in the year 2023. For this session, I'd like to invite the owner of Barc, who founded Barc Stories by Abhishek in Nepal in 2016. Please put your hands together for Mr. Abhishek Tuladhar.
Hi everyone, I'm Abhishek. Thank you all for being here. Thank you Smirnoff for giving us the opportunity to tell our stories. I think we've all have very interesting background stories, which I think one-on-one, if you come to the bar, we might be able to tell you over a drink, but Smirnoff has given us a platform to say this in front of everyone who, a lot of familiar faces here. So it's really nice. Thank you Smirnoff for giving us that opportunity. Okay, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about, before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Abhishek, and I actually got into the bar industry, it wasn't really planned. I don't know, a lot of you might also just get into it because, you might not have, you don't know what to do next. Someone tells you bartending is a cool job, and, you go maybe try it out. For me, when I was in Singapore, we used to work long hours, sometimes 14 to 16 hours, but after that we used to always go out for a drink. So we used to then, cocktail bars were quite famous back then, go visit cocktail bars, but the biggest problem there was 25 Sing dollars a cocktail. So we couldn't really afford to drink a lot of cocktails, so that's when I started. I had a bartender friend who started teaching me basic cocktails so that I could make it at home. Once I came to Nepal, I was planning to actually go abroad for another job, but I started really enjoying this bar culture and making drinks. I did a bartending gig for my cousin's wedding. After that, I got a lot of offers to do more gigs. That's how I founded Barc Stories in 2017. We used to do a lot of pop-ups, go up to small restaurants, bars then. We used to try different flavors. That's when we came up with the Titora, Bloody Nepali cocktail, Khattu, and the Ela cocktails, and we still do it to this day. When we were going to open Barc, it was the pandemic. I think at the same time, we had Bitters & Co. and Blackbird opening at the same time, so it was really nice to have, people think, oh, we opened all together, and everyone has B in their name. I don't think we planned it, but we all start from B. It was really nice actually to have them open around the same time as we did, because doing it alone versus having people, having friends do it at the same time, it was quite nice to have a community from the get-go. I'm sure a lot of bartenders here understand, doing something alone versus having someone to converse to, fall back on. So it's really nice to have them open at the same time as we did as well. When we opened Barc, we wanted Barc to be something different to the Nepalese, yet familiar. We didn't want to use too many of Nepalese influence, like, let's say the brick or wood carvings, but we wanted a contemporary feel to it. However, keeping our flavors quite local. We do use a lot of local flavors in our bar. At the same time, Adarsh, the co-founder of Barc, he's been in the F&B industry for a long time. I initially did not want to do food, but not doing food, being located where we are, I think people would have killed us because there's really nothing there. Like Thamel, maybe you can get away by not doing food so much because there's so many eateries around, but where we're located, we really needed to do food, and that's where my co-founder Adarsh came in, and we tied up, and yeah, he does the food program there, I do the bar program, we run Barc together, so it's been good there. Today, I think I'll talk a little bit more about the business side of it. I mean, I know you as bartenders, servers, junior bartenders, senior bartenders, managers might be going, why do we need to really know the business side of the bar? But I think it's very important because you kind of deal with it on a day-to-day basis. It's not only the owners or let's say the managers or the accountants who are crunching the numbers have to worry about that because we're all independent bars here. Profitability is very important. Otherwise, if the bar's not profitable, 1-2 years, you close down, then you have to look for another job. It's the same cycle that we have seen quite prevalent in the bar industry in the previous, in the past years as well. Our values at Barc are we want to invest in people who invest in themselves. That means we don't always have to come and say, okay, please do this, please do that, right? We really want people who come up and say, oh, can I get this opportunity to, do this or, do some experiments with some flavors? Can we improve by doing this in our bar? It's more, and when you get an opportunity to come to conferences, to guest shifts, to bar talks, we have people coming from outside talking about the experience, like Yang Dubdai when he had visited us in December. We had a lot of bartenders come. We want people to motivate themselves to come, not always having us saying that, oh, you need to go, you need to go. The session is for the development of our team or the aspiring bartenders. We want people to be curious and willing to change their minds. Whenever we work, our working style at Barc is not one person is always right. I may suggest something which can always, with high chances of it being wrong, but it's trial and error. We want people to always be curious and figure out what we're doing, why we're doing something. We want to keep fixed costs low with great people. Like I said, if a bar is profitable, it will run longer and there will be more chances of employment rather than closing down, opening up a new bar, that same process and then starting to create an identity. Our principal thinking is I tell our team, and which I think whenever we have a chance to tell anyone, is ask questions about everything. Yes, there's learning sessions, but if you can ask questions, you will start understanding. I think it's just, when instructions are given, sometimes we just follow it without even asking why, thinking, oh, that's our senior, that's our manager, that's the owner, they're telling us to do this, so we're just going to do it. But if you ask why you're doing something, it'll make your life much easier. Keeping it simple. I think as bartenders, we always want to come up with a new cocktail. We want to come up with, a new technique. But at this point, when we are really learning, when we should be learning more, we should focus on making sure our basis is strong, our pillars is strong, our basics, it's not everyone can come up with a new cocktail. It's very, very difficult. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's hard work, it's perseverance, but it's very difficult to come up with a very iconic drink without putting in the work. So if you're not first understanding and keeping things simple, you barely know how to make a classic cocktail, but then you're going and saying, I want to create my own flavors. I think it will take you longer to really understand the whole bar. Your bar journey will be very, very different and maybe even difficult, right? Breaking down things into basic levels is very, very important. Like I said, I've gone to places where people talk very complicated bar techniques, let's say, which we are not very familiar of, right? But at the end of the day, it is all very simple. I'm sure everyone's heard about Rotovap. At the end of the day, what is it? It's just infusing it in a very, very different level, right? You're just infusing flavors. You're distilling it, but it's the aroma and the flavors that you're trying to get. And you can do it in many techniques. So first understand the basic things of flavors and what you want to do, and then you can always start doing the more complicated ones. Structure, giving structure as in making sure you are managing your time, you are making sure that you are understanding each level of your responsibility. I think that's important. And once you can focus on that, once you don't really have to think about that structure, it's much easier as to your day-to-day job becomes much easier. Some of the other things we focus on at Barc, and I'm sure you all do it as well, but I just want to reiterate, is whenever we use a single ingredient in our cocktail, we try and use it more than once. I think our menu, if you've seen our menu, let's say the Titora, we use it in 3 cocktails, right? We don't only use it for the Bloody Nepali, we have a Bloody Mary version of it, and then we have a PT version of it. So what we're trying to do is, we don't want to have so many ingredients and having to track everything. So what we're trying to do is keeping it concise. I'm not talking about lime sugar that's going to be in your bar anyways. But what I'm talking about is special ingredients that you use as well. If you can use it more than once, that's great. It really helps us keep our inventory, the inventory list down, and it helps us optimize our menu. One of the biggest problems we face here is prices of raw materials, and it's not consistent. So that's something we really need to do more often. And again, that's why I say it's not only the accountants or us, the owners or who have to look into it. If the juniors or the managers, those who are looking into it, you assist them, it's much more helpful. Reduce wastage. Yeah, very important. There's always wastage, but the least you can do, that's generally, reducing wastage is sometimes easier than increasing sales. So that's something you could focus on as well. Customer experience, I think I don't want to touch too much on it because Zhang and Rov and even Santi has spoken quite a bit about that. Creating a welcoming ambience is, again, it's pretty much very similar things. Let's talk a little bit about the flavor wheel. I think we have kind of an edge on one of the items here. Anyone knows which one, or anyone thinks which one we think we have an edge on? All right, so I'm sure you guys know all about sweet, savory, the spicy and salty, which we do quite a bit. Umami is something, if you're not familiar with, I think Nepalese have quite a bit of umami flavors in our ingredients. That's something we can definitely utilize. A lot of people right now, umami seems to be the trend outside. We hear a lot of people talk about umami flavors. That's something that we have a lot in Nepal. And yeah, it's just something you can really capitalize on. These are just some of the examples. I'm not going to touch too much on them because we are pretty much aware of it. So the umami ones, the fermented ingredients is something we can definitely utilize. Just a quick, our cocktails, like I was mentioning, we use each ingredient 3 times. These are our pillar local flavors, and these are a pillar of Barc, which is Bloody Nepali. The Titora, we use it 3 ways. We have Kattu, which we use 3 ways, and then we have a Ela, which we use 3 ways. So our first 3 pages of a menu, we have these ingredients, and that's something we really, really focus on. And for cocktail, I feel interpretation is everything. Cocktail is an art. Some people might like it. Some people might like a certain cocktail, may not like a certain cocktail, but it's an art form, and I think if you dedicate your time to it, and you put your time into it, it really works out. The rewards are always great on that. Having said that, yes, I think that's pretty much what I have. Thank you. If there's anything, we'll be at the bar later. Maybe you can ask questions then. Thank you.